Hi, welcome to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if we haven't met before, I'm a busy mom of 2 active kids, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. My goal is to share with you how I stay on top of all life throws at me in one planner so that you might be able to do the same. Today, I'm going to talk about how I'm going to break out my yearly goals into monthly goals, and if you missed that video, I will link it. But this is my yearly goal sheet. And as you can see, I have it broken into different sections. However, I want to take my goals and break them into a more manageable amount of goals for the month of January. And I'm just going to start with another blank dot grid piece of paper. I have some stamps from Heidi Swapp. I have my ink pads, a bunch of pens. I've got my candle going, and I'm just going to relax. I'm taping this on New Year's Eve, but it won't go up until probably the evening of the 1st. And then I also have my random stickers, and these contain any extras or any sticker sheets that I don't have a book for per se. And I've been using these Just Starkey snowflakes for my other January pages, so I thought I would go ahead and use the extras for my January goal sheet and keep it all in the same theme. Next, I thought I would use the Heidi Swapp stamp set and stamp January. On the right-hand side of the page, I do think that if I keep the title of the page on the right side of the page, it'll just be easier to find in my planner. But I do have a stamp set for each month of the year, and I thought that if I put January at the top with this Memento Tuxedo black ink, that I would be able to stagger the rest of the months down the side of the page. So January would be at the top, and then February, and I'd work my way all the way down to December. But that way, if I was flipping through all of my goals when they were completed, because I only plan on keeping the current month in my planner, but the other ones I will still keep. But when I go back to look at them, I will quickly be able to see what month I'm in, and it will just go down the side of the page. And I think that will look okay. We'll see how it turns out for the rest of the year, but that is my general goal for 2024 and my monthly goals. And then I'm going to make sure that I have my friction erase pen, and these do come in different sizes, but I prefer the 0.5 for just general everyday things. So let's take a look at our yearly goals list, and as I'm looking at this, I do realize that there are a lot of commonalities, and I've been looking at it for probably a week now, I guess, and the common theme for the goals this year is my routines. I really need to get back to my routines and focus on those. So I did grab some boxes that are also left over from my January pages, and I just thought that I would put that front and center so that it was always reminding me that that is my number one priority. A lot of the other goals that I have will just fall into place once I start to master my routines again. So I'm excited about this. I'm nervous about this, but I know that I can do it. I've done it before. It's just a matter of getting into the routine again, and that is really the hardest part. So I did grab a big box off of the sticker sheet, and I could have used an in-between from what I had. I have a small, a medium, and then a really big one. So it would have been nice to have something in between, but I will just write routines really big and fill in the space. I also thought that I could write in number 1 goal just to break things up a little bit, and it didn't just say routines really big at the top and make it look like this whole page was about routines. And I did grab my Tombow Mono correction tape just to white out that corner of the box that would be under the lighter blue box. Otherwise, it would have shown through, so I did want to white that out a little bit. This will be in my planner for the entire month of January, so I do want it to look somewhat good and a little interesting to the eye. The next thing that I decided to do was grab a bunch of small boxes and use them for all of my different areas of goal setting. So I will put one down for personal, spiritual, health and wellness, friends and family, financial, household, professional, and passion. And I'm just going to space these around the page. And just like when I did my yearly goal setting, I really don't know how much space I'm going to need yet. So I'm just trying to guess and space them out somewhat evenly as well as I can, and still hoping I can fill space and leave a balanced white space. I do have the snowflake stickers if I need to fill in, but I'm hoping that I don't have to put a lot of snowflakes on the page. So I'm going to use these honeybee stamps, and I'm just going to stamp out number 1 goal in that small box up the top. I just wanted a little bit more stamping than what I already have. I didn't just want one stamp on the page. And I thought about stamping out each of the sections, but I didn't want to spend that much time stamping. It could have taken me forever. And since I don't plan on keeping any of my planners long term, I feel like that's kind of a waste of time. So I am going to stamp number one goal up in the left box up there. And then I will eventually come back and put 2024 under January. And even though I debated on using some more of those Heidi Swapp stamps, I just didn't feel the need to clutter up the page more. And just for reference, it took about 3 to 5 minutes just to get these stamps lined up on this block. So imagine if it took me 3 to 5 minutes for each one of the stickers. So if I multiplied that by 8, it would have taken me 30 minutes just to do the sections. And again, I'm not sure it's worth that amount of time. My handwriting isn't that bad, although there are days where I don't love it, but I think I'll live with my handwriting and save that half hour. I did get out the little ruler though, so that I could line up the letters a little better. I was really struggling there for a minute, so the ruler is definitely a time saver. And I do want to mention that I am speeding up the rest of this video, or at least the majority of it, because a lot of it is going to be me stamping or writing, and I'm not really sure you want to watch me do that real time. So I am going to go ahead and speed this up. For the most part, it'll probably just be 1.5 times, but there may be points where I either time lapse or go faster. So now I'm just going to write in routines. I am penciling it in first just because I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to write it, but I just thought I would go with something very basic and somewhat easy to do. I just wanted to write it in pencil first, and then I'll come back in with my Uniball 1 and make it a little darker. Also, I'm not using erasable here just in case I need to erase other things near it. I don't want to erase the title areas, so routines as well as all of the different areas of my life will be in normal ink, and then the actual goals for the month will be in erasable ink. So again, the areas that I am goal setting in are health and wellness, spiritual, personal, friends and family, household, passion, professional development, and financial. I think I said all of them. There are 8 of them. But my goal is to flesh these out, but not necessarily have an equal amount in each area. I definitely want to try to be real about what I can accomplish each month. I will put down more than what I can accomplish just to reach further, but for the most part, I want to be realistic with setting my goals. I debated on whether or not to put stars down now, but I do want to put some around the page, and I want to use them to help balance out what I've written in the boxes. So I am going to go ahead and drop a few in. This will also help as I am writing things down. I definitely don't want to put snowflakes over any of the goals that I am setting for the month of January. So that's why I am putting in a few before I even get started putting my goals down. And then I am going to come back in and put in that 2024 under January with those honeybee stamps. I really like how they look, but again, I just didn't want to take a ton of time to stamp out each area of my goals. So let's get into the goals for January. I debated about whether or not I wanted to move my why over from my yearly goal sheet, but I did decide to hold off on that, at least for now. I wasn't sure if I would have enough room, and I also don't know that I need it since my yearly goals will be either the page before or the page after this goal sheet. I haven't quite decided which order I'm putting things in yet, but let me just dig into my actual goals. So for health and wellness, I want to stop drinking soda and I want to close the rings on my watch every day. So my why for my health and wellness goals are really more energy and less weight. So I really feel like these two goals will put me in a good spot for that. And then when I look at my personal goals, I feel like a lot of things have to do with my routines. Also, traveling, which I probably won't do much of in January, so I will focus more on my hobbies. The first thing will be to read one physical book. I'm very good at listening to audiobooks, but I actually want to read some of the books that I have on my shelf. The other two are audiobook and photo maintenance. And photo maintenance really is more of a hobby than a chore because I need pictures in order to scrapbook. So pictures come first and then scrapbooking. So what I'm going to try is to pick a month or a year or a quarter to clean out pictures from and work on that every Friday of the month. And then at the end of the month on that last Friday, I will actually print pictures for scrapbooking. And then for the spiritual area, again, a lot focuses on my routines. So I'm just going to write morning routine since that's when most of my prayer and spirituality stuff fit. And then my Bible in a Year podcast. I'm going to try and do that more regularly instead of chunks each week. So I'm going to try and do it every day, possibly during exercise, but I'm not sure if that will get me running or not. Might need to listen to music when I run. Then for friends and family, I'm going to focus on sending out birthday messages and sending a random message every week. And the people in my family are not getting younger. Both of my parents were in the younger end of a big family. So I really want to make sure that I express my love for them before it's too late. And now I'm going to jump over to the financial area. And I feel like these are more of to-dos than goals, but I really need to get some to-dos done, some tasks done before I can move on to my goals. So my to-dos are going to be to pull my tax documents together for 2023. And then I want to do an account and a subscription audit. And then I want to look at the CDs versus money markets. Right now we have a little bit in money market, so I'm wondering if it'd be better to move it into a CD. And then I want to set up automatic withdrawal for our IRAs for the year. And I did write that all out, and then I decided I didn't like the spacing of it, so I decided to go back and rewrite it so that I was not skipping lines. And this is why I love my Friction pens. It makes it a lot easier if I do change my mind. They do erase pretty well. I probably should not have had the other goal sheet underneath. It didn't do it this time, but frequently if you erase something that has ink on the front and the back side, then it may also erase on the back side as well. These are Friction pens, so it means that it erases with friction, not with your old school eraser, so it can erase other things that you don't mean to erase. My passion goals are consistently posting in Instagram and to work on my masterclass. I don't know that I'll have time to finish it, but I would like to get a good chunk of it done. For professional, I would like to put my professional development plan together, catch up on all the low-hanging fruit now that everybody should be back in the office after the holidays, and then just cross things off that never-ending to-do list. But I really want to get those things crossed off that have been on there for way too long. I want to push people to get things done, which will in turn help me get my things done. And then for household, I want to focus on my weekly home blessing. I want to map out recurring home maintenance, and I want to work on decluttering. And these aren't all necessarily part of my goals, but my why is to love my home and not be stressed by it. So that's why I felt like I could add in declutter without it being too much of a stretch from my goals. Now, I didn't like that big white open space in the middle of the page, so I did decide to add in a quote, and it says, "Focus on the ones who love you. Some people may not love you. focus on those who do, you'll be a whole lot happier. I felt like there were enough snowflakes on the page, so I didn't want to add just a big snowflake randomly, but I thought this quote was fitting. I think I'll add in a couple more. So up in the health and wellness area, I did write, wake up, work out, kick ass, repeat. And when I was on track, that's what I felt like I did. So I really want to get back there. And this was a very motivating quote for me when I was there. And then once I got those 2 quotes in, I decided I didn't like how I had that photo maintenance in a separate box like that. It made it feel more like a quote and not like part of my tasks. So I did move that to my task of photo maintenance. And then I'm going to add in one more quote that says, don't give up what you want the most for what you want right now. And I feel like that's very fitting towards my retirement goals. So I like that as well. Then the last thing I'm going to do is change out my bullets to blue. So again, I'm glad that I used my friction pen here so that I could erase and put in something different. And I'm now confident in putting these permanent blue dots down. I would not have been before. I may have made the dots from the friction a little bit smaller had I thought that I was going to erase them, but in general, it's easy to erase and redo them. So I do like the friction pen a lot, but I do also like these pops of blue instead of just the normal bullet. And it kind of draws your eye towards my actual goals for the month instead of the quotes that are in boxes. I feel like that took a lot of visual appeal away from the bullets. So these are my routines. Let me go ahead and punch these so that they're ready to go in my planner. And I did decide to take out the pretty page that said goals and the pretty page that said trackers so that I could see my goals and my trackers front and center without having to turn past that page. And a lot of those aren't necessarily necessary, so I may take more of them out. I just wasn't sure if it would bother me visually that they weren't all the same divider covers, if that makes sense. The last thing I want to look at is my routines because they are so integral to what I am doing this month. And I'm just kind of making sure that those things that I want to accomplish this month are actually in these daily, weekly, monthly routines. So I am going to put a little sticky note down that says, where do goals fit in? Only weekly or daily? So this means, should I put a daily routine check-in to go look at my goal sheet, or is this front page here enough to remind me of those goals that I want to accomplish? So I plan on picking 3 main goals each week to focus on. So I guess it's just a matter of whether or not that works and making sure it all fits together and nothing falls through the cracks. So as you can see, I'm also just looking through to see if I have birthday messages on here, which I don't. So I'm going to just write that in pencil right now. I could have written it in the friction as well, but the pencil was sitting right there. So I'm just going to write print last week of month for the photo maintenance. And then I'm also going to write in birthday messages and a weekly random messages. And I am just printing these on demand each week for right now until I am confident in them. So I will go ahead and add them before I print again. And then I'm just going to continue to look at my goals and make sure that everything else that I need is in my routines or my checklist. And my weekly home blessing is, and then I'm going to work on the other maintenance list. But I think everything right now, as I know it, is here and I'm ready to start the year. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I hope that everyone has a wonderful and a productive January, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!